All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Alabama Blue School. This is a program of UDeval, or United Democratic Volunteers of Alabama. So, Blue School, what we do is it's a monthly virtual discussion with Democrats from across the states where we learn a new topic and then we share what we know with each other. We generally meet over Zoom on the third Tuesday of every month. So you can look forward to a new Blue School every month except next month, which we will be skipping because of our annual Blue Conference, which we hope you will join us. And you can visit our website for more information about that. This month, we have a very special Blue School for you today. We're going to be learning about Door Knocking 101, and by none other than the chair of the Shelby County Democrats, Marsha Sturdevant. So thank you so much, Marsha, for being here, for helping us do this Blue School for us this month. And always, if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat, or feel free to email us or contact us, and we will do our best to answer your questions. And without further ado, uh, the floor is now yours, Marcia. Thank
Okay,
you.
thanks, Brian. I think that this is a really important topic to have recorded and to have on our lineup of educational topics for Democratic volunteers because it's such a difficult topic. It's such a difficult getting started, anxiety-provoking topic that I think if people learn a few pointers about door knocking, then it'll help people be enthusiastic about door knocking and less anxious about the idea of going into neighborhoods and talking to voters. Um, oh great. I can't get the screen to move when it's like this. Hang on, let me do something different. Sorry, I had to stop sharing. I just need to change the way I'm doing um the slides.
No worries. I think we're all familiar with technical difficulties.
Yeah. Gosh darn it. Oh, there we go. I got it. Okay. Okay, so let me try doing it this way without creating a slideshow to get the slides to move. I think everybody will still be able to read them, but I think it'll work better for getting the slides to move. There we go. Yeah. So I think in order for people to feel confident with door knocking, they really need to understand why campaigns or groups or parties are asking them to door knock. It could be to support a candidate, but even if it's to support a candidate, it might be early in a campaign and it might be trying to get voters' perspectives on issues or their opinions on things that are going on in the world. Uh, it also might be to count voter support, to just know the number of voters that are on board with your candidate. And then finally, if you're door knocking for a candidate, you might be looking for volunteers for the campaign. If you're knocking on doors looking for unregistered voters, as another reason to door knock. You may be doing that for a party, or you may be doing that for a campaign, or you may be doing that for a nonprofit who's very interested in increasing the voter turnout in your area. Um, and then finally, you may be doing it close to a primary election day or close to a general election day so that you can try to get your voters out to the polls so that they will you can find out if they have barriers to getting to the polls, and you can help them figure out ways to get over those barriers and get to the polls on election day. Now, research suggests that direct voter contact increases turnout by as much as 9%. But a lot of that depends on how effective the direct voter contact is. One thing that's not on this slide, but is underpins all these different reasons for door knocking, is that campaigns and parties want canvassers because they want them to collect data. They want them to collect data about how voters think about things, who they're going to support, whether they're going to volunteer. And so it's really important when you go canvassing, that you be ready with appropriate tools to take down information that can be communicated back to the campaign. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about how to get ready to door knock, how to know that things are going to go well if you um, are ready and do certain things to make sure that your canvassing will go well. The first thing that's really important is just being prepared. Campaigns and parties give canvassers scripts, and that script is probably not a good idea to be read to a voter. It's much better to read through the script a few times, make it your own, know what you want to say, and then go ahead and canvass. You want to understand what your candidate or sponsor wants to get out of the door knocking canvassing, and you want to know what information you'll be collecting as part of the canvass. When you're getting ready, you should always dress in a way that identifies you as being part of a campaign or part of a group and not just some random person knocking on somebody's door. So a t-shirt, a button, a sticker, those are all really, really important identifying markers for people who are out canvassing. Um, because of the need for the data collection, it's really, really important that canvassing apps be used if at all possible. A lot of us are old enough to remember going out door to door with clipboards and lists and check boxes to fill in, but that's sort of gone by the wayside now that we have canvassing apps. Because if you have to canvass on a clipboard and collect data on a clipboard, someone is going to have to enter that data. If you canvass using an app, you can enter data about the voters' preferences and about whether they want to be a volunteer, about what they believe about certain issues directly to the app. And when you sync that app to the campaign, the information is automatically sent to them. Um, some people can't canvas with an app because their phone is the screen is too small and they have vision problems. In that case, you can use a tablet, but also often people do have to resort to using a canvassing list. But there has to be a way to enter that data from your canvassing list into the campaign. We're going to talk later about using Minivan, which is a really common app that Democratic canvassers use. But further on in the discussion, we'll talk about Minivan. Okay. One of the things to find out ahead of time before you go out canvassing is if there's a plan for lit dropping. In other words, are you going to leave push cards? Are you going to leave door hangers? And making sure that you have enough so that you don't run out before you finish all the doors you're going to knock. Um, Also, it's important because of the need to have push cards and door hangers. It's important to wear something with pockets. A lot of campaigns and groups provide canvassing vests or canvassing aprons to use, but some don't. So making sure that you're wearing something with pockets where you can stuff information is a really good idea. You can put information on clipboards and things too, but it's easier to, if you have your hands free, to talk to voters and to take lit and push cards out of pockets. Okay. And then it's really important that you be prepared to accurately evaluate how many doors you think you'll be able to knock during your time canvassing. One of the reasons people have lists of where they're canvassing is they want to consistently cover all the doors in that area. And so if you take a list of 60 doors, when you know you'll only be able to knock 30, that means that's 30 doors that no one else will be able to knock on. Okay. So it's always important for you to look at your list and that list has been assigned to you and tell the campaign or your sponsor that you can't do that many doors because they can assign you a different list. Okay. It's just important to know that. Um, it's always important if you're the person sending out canvassers that you pair up first timers with experienced canvassers because the easiest way to have a not very good time door knocking for the first time is to go by yourself because there's so many things that even that a presentation or someone talking to you about canvassing can't go over until you've experienced it. So it's really important that first time door knockers be able to canvas with someone who's done it before so that they can get the support they need and have a good experience. Any questions about getting ready? Um, Thoughts about getting ready? Words of wisdom?
So I've actually canvassed with minivan before, and I feel quite at home with the subject matter. I'm just here to brush up on my fundamentals.
Um, Jack, it's really hard for me to hear what you're saying since you don't have your camera on. If someone else could kind of tell me what James, sorry, I know it's James, just said, that would help me if he had a question.
Yeah, James had more of a comment where he has done minivan before while canvassing, so this is more of a refresher for him for
Okay,
sure.
that's excellent. Okay, good to
Uh,
know.
I was just gonna say the canvassing apron is interesting. I haven't seen that before.
Uh,
That seems very useful.
yeah, that's what we do in Shelby County. Yeah. So that's why I mentioned it because it's nice to there's aprons that go all the way up like a kitchen apron, but there's also wraparound like a carpenter's apron that you can put push cards and stuff in. It's especially helpful if you're canvassing for more than one candidate. Yeah.
Very interesting. Thank you.
Okay. Um, I'm going to go on now and talk about when you're at the door and knocking on doors with for a candidate or a sponsor. Always knock and step back. Okay. Try not to crowd the door so the voter doesn't feel like you're crowding them. Okay. Then make sure you know what the name of the voter is and ask for that person specifically by name before you start talking. Always smile, always be friendly, always stay positive, and walk away if the voter doesn't want to talk to you. There's no reason to try to talk them into talking to you. There's no reason that they should talk to you if they don't wish to. If a voter doesn't want to talk to you, just say, thank you for your time. I appreciate that you answered your door and walk away. Okay. Generally speaking, if you're not the candidate, it's a good idea not to stay more than 5 minutes talking to a voter. Even if you've had a lot of unanswered doors and all of a sudden you have a voter that's friendly to your campaign and you're excited and happy that they are, you won't finish your list if you take more than 5 minutes with a voter. Hate to say it because that's my favorite thing is to stay with somebody who likes me for a long time. But it's if you're going to get through your list, you're going to have to watch the time that you spend with each voter. I think I said this before when I was talking about uh, leaving when they don't want to talk to you. But no matter what the outcome is, the last thing you do is thank the voter for their time. No matter a good outcome, a not so great outcome, thank you for your time. Yeah. Then when you're using your minivan app or your data collection app, update the information after every door. Don't wait to do 2 or 3 doors and then try to update the information about what the voter 3 doors ago said. Go ahead and stop for a moment away from the voter's home and away from their yard and update the information in the app. Try your best not to skip addresses unless there's a really good reason to, like a beware of the dog sign. Fine reason to skip. Fine reason to skip. But most of the time, try not to skip addresses if you can avoid it, because it helps with the consistency of the data collection. Okay, any questions about being friendly and being at the door?
One question for me. What do you do if the house has a no trespassing sign?
You don't go there. If it says no soliciting, you can do those houses, but if it says no trespassing specifically, then don't go there.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just they really don't want you there. And it's a really important message to take seriously. Okay. So here are the common mistakes that people will make when they're outdoor knocking. And so try not to do these things. I mentioned this before, and this is the reverse. Don't stay too long. Don't walk on people's lawns. Use their sidewalks or their or obvious trails or their driveways. Don't put campaign materials in mailboxes. It's against the law to do that. Or on windshields, and that's just annoying. Don't do it. Okay. Um, don't start the conversation about your issue or candidate before you've identified that you're talking to the voter that's in your app, okay, that's on your list. Don't go inside the house or stand too close to an open door. Okay, even if you get invited in for a drink of water, don't go inside the house unless you happen to be a personal friend of the person that you're door knocking. Don't give answers that you're not sure are true. Make sure that if a voter asks you a question and you don't know the answer, that you can give them either a push card or a brochure or something with website information, with contact numbers, so they can get their answer specifically from the campaign. And because it's really important that they get accurate information about the candidate or about the issue that you're canvassing about. Don't argue with the voter. If there is an argumentative person at the door, thank them for answering the door and for their time and walk away. And then finally, try not to mention who your candidate is running against unless the voter does that first. Now, there's a caveat to this one because sometimes people don't know what house, like say House District 43, that's the House District I live in. They don't know who the current incumbent is. And so in that situation, you may have to tell them. And that your candidate is the current incumbent or your candidate is the opponent to the current incumbent. So you may have to mention that just to get them oriented into what the race is that you're talking to them about. These are just really things that you should be careful about. And to be honest with you, most of these caveats are really important and are true for if you're canvassing for your own campaign, then you're the candidate, or if you're canvassing on behalf of another candidate. But if you are the candidate yourself, you can mention your opponent if you have a strategy to do that. Okay. You can also, if you are the candidate, some of these things may um, may be a little bit different. For instance, if you're the candidate, you might initiate a handshake. But if you're not the candidate, you would not. You would not touch a voter unless they initiate contact first. Okay. Questions about this?
If a if someone asks uh where the polling place is and you have you know how to do that, would you take the time to do that to help the voter?
If you have using minivan, you'll have that information in the app.
Oh,
And
nice.
so it isn't, I was going to show that in a second. You'll have that information in the app. And so you'll be able to give that information to the voter. Yeah. Yeah. If you're canvassing, you may be canvassing, and if you're canvassing an area where you know where the polling place is because all the people vote at the same place, sure, you don't have to look it up. You can just tell them because you've looked it up ahead of time. Yeah.
Got
But
it.
it doesn't, if you think about it, it doesn't take any time to look up a polling place once you've looked it up once, if you're in a neighborhood, because they all vote in the same place.
Got it. Thank you.
Does that
No
make
other
sense?
questions.
Pardon?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Here's the controversies. Um, and I'd like to hear other people's perspectives on this because I have some perspectives too. Should canvassers talk to voters who are not on their list? Any thoughts about that? We got some experts on the call.
Uh, can you hear me more clearly now?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
My understanding of the matter has always been if someone isn't on your list but is still like, a voter, if they've got a sign up that says like, vote blue 2026, it is always worth stopping in to make yourself known. Uh, but I will also throw in the caveat, if they have signs for the other guys, no, skip that house.
Um, okay. Yeah. I think that that's another question kind of. It is if a person if a name is on your list and they have signs out for the opposing candidate, it's very likely that the person on your list is not the person who put the sign up. So it's still okay to knock on that door. Um, this is specifically about should you take the time if you meet people in the neighborhood that are not on your list to take the time to talk to them.
I'm sorry, I thought you meant like, just as you're walking by and you saw somebody who might
Yeah,
have been a
walking by.
Okay, if you
Um,
happen to meet someone who's just a voter in the street, absolutely it's worth saying, hello, I am so and so. I'm representing this, that, and the other. Are you voting this election? You can give them basically the full rundown right there in the street, but only if they expressed interest in you first. And they can see what you're about. You're carrying around, like I presume you're at least wearing a button that says who you are.
I think that's an answer that a candidate would give, James, and I know you are a candidate. So I think that's a good answer for a candidate to give. For a canvasser, it might be a good answer, but it might not so much if if a primary objective of your campaign that you're working as a volunteer for is to get through the list and to gather information on all the doors on your list. If that's the primary objective of the campaign and talking with other voters who are not on your list will stop that objective, a campaign may say, please be friendly to everyone, but make sure you get through the list. So it's good to know ahead of time what the campaign thinks about about voters that aren't on the list. It's good to ask ahead of time and find out what they would prefer. Would they prefer to you focus on your list, or would they prefer that you talk to people that you meet that aren't on your list? Because keep in mind, you don't have a way to collect data on those people. And if that's a primary intent of the campaign, you may not be able to fulfill that intent if you spend time talking to other voters not on the list. That's why this is controversial, because there's there's many ways to think about it and ways to look at it. And when I'm canvassing as a candidate, I canvass differently
Yeah.
than I may canvass for a campaign. Linda, did you have something? I'm sorry, I thought I heard you say something. Okay,
Marsha, I have a little bit of something I want to say there. I
sure.
mean, when you're out canvassing, you should always be nice and polite to everybody. But if
Mm,
you're campaigning, knocking on doors for a campaign, the data that you're receiving, that you're going to input into minivan, is the most important thing in getting through your list. So the campaign would have that on down the road, especially if they win a primary. Or so I'm always very nice to anyone I meet on the street, but if I'm knocking on doors, I'm focused on those names I have on my list. So that's what I would say about it.
yeah, I think that's a good point. But as you can tell, there's different viewpoints about that. And
Yeah, but
so
if I'm campaigning for myself, I would talk to everybody and knock on as many doors as I saw.
yeah,
So
yeah, exactly.
that's the rub there.
Yep, I agree. I agree. So that's why this is on the controversies list. And I appreciate everybody's input. Um, can you canvass in neighborhoods where there are no soliciting signs posted?
I do.
Okay, that's Linda. Thank you, Linda. I agree
What
I agree
sign?
mostly. Yeah.
No soliciting, because there's a Supreme Court decision that uh, found that there are certain organizations that have a need to do so. It's critical to their purpose. Did y'all hear me?
Yeah, you kept going in and out a little bit, Linda.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. My Wi-Fi's acting up again.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I do, but simply because there is a Supreme Court decision that ruled that certain organizations have a need in order to knock doors. Examples of that is Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and politicians. So
Right. And we're not soliciting money, of course. We're soliciting
votes,
opinions and votes. Right.
opinions, and votes.
But Brian brought up a good point before, because it's no soliciting is not the same as no trespassing. And I think if a no trespassing sign is up, I would not go to that house. Do
Yeah,
others agree with that?
I would agree
yeah,
with you, Marsha, on that one. Yeah, no trespassing is totally different.
yeah, absolutely. I don't bother those people either, because they've already said they don't want to talk to you.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
And I don't think there's any law that would excuse you doing that, you know, or any court ruling that I'm aware of.
I think you could go if you wanted to, but I wouldn't. I personally would not go to a house that said no trespassing. Yeah. Uh, any other scenarios that y'all can think of? We're going to move on to looking at the minivan app after we finish talking about this. But there any things that have happened while you've been canvassing, or anything you're worried about that might happen while you're canvassing that we need to discuss?
I just want to reiterate that it's critical that people with experience go with inexperienced people. I've had, if you got time, I'll tell you one little thing that happened almost on one of our first outings. I had, of course, I don't let anybody go by themselves. There's supposed to be a car that follows the two people that go to the door. And at this time we didn't have our smocks to identify who we were. And of course, we were in a pretty, crime-ridden neighborhood, and I was 2 streets over, and the police pulled into this yard. These two were already at the door. It was two people of color at the door, and the police pulled into the house lawn, basically, and drew their guns. So anything can happen.
Yeah.
Luckily, those two just kind of, they had clipboards, and I think police realized that they weren't, because they were after a male, that they weren't male, so it couldn't be them. And they walked away. Unfortunately, the car had started playing on their phone and forgot to follow them. So it's important. It really is. And that's why I don't let people door knock alone.
Yeah.
Because
It's really
not
important.
real. Yeah.
I think, yeah, I think there can be times where people can canvas alone, but they have to be really experienced canvassers, uh, really experienced canvassers, perhaps candidates. But first time or somebody who's only been canvassing a few times, they should always have a partner. Yeah. Any other thoughts?
What about dogs? That's a concern of mine sometimes. If you see a dog and it's not wagging its tail and you don't feel comfortable if it's in the yard or in the, I know some houses have like screened in porches with the
Yep.
dog in there too. So what do you recommend in those scenarios?
Well, dogs that are loose in a yard that don't look friendly, I do skip those houses. Um, Screen porches, I knock on the screen door and that's it. I don't go inside. I consider that part of the house. I don't know. How do others feel?
Yeah, I don't go inside the screen door either. We do not. And if they come out, we talk to them.
Yeah.
But our biggest problem usually then is they're not coming to the door. I don't think I've had very many actually come that had a screened in porch that was latched with the dog in it.
Yeah, that's the only thing about door knocking that's a problem because most of the time you will not get, a lot of the time you won't get people to the door.
Mm.
So, I mean, and the ones that you do get to the door, they're going to talk and they're going to be nice to you. And I don't think you usually have too many problems with people like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's why it's real important for campaigns to have leavable lit. Because
Yes.
when you do, I mean, I think it's a good idea for voters to know that a campaign has been in the neighborhood. Uh,
Yes.
Yes.
so many campaigns don't canvass, and in my experience, voters that know that a campaign has been in the neighborhood find it nice that somebody cared. So I like the idea of being able to leave lit to people who don't answer the door or aren't home. Door hangers being the the most convenient, I think, for both canvassers and for voters. But that's just my prejudice about what kind of
I'll
lit.
add one other thing there, Marcia. Local campaigns like county commission, people expect you to come to their door for those races. They are waiting on you. And if your campaign doesn't go to that door, they'll talk bad around, at least around here. I can say that in Fayette County because they expect to be contacted for local races.
Yeah. It's different here. When I was canvassing for my commission race a couple of years ago, people were stunned that I was at their door. They
Well, door
it
knocking
wasn't
has
something
been,
that
yeah,
they
people
were,
haven't been doing it as much.
yeah. But I really like Canvas. I mean, that's why I wanted to give this talk because I really like it. It's fun.
It absolutely can be fun, but not when it's 110 degrees. Good
Oh,
God.
well, yeah,
I
yeah,
hate
yeah.
that.
Well, I did a lot of canvassing that summer, and I'd start like at 8:30 in the morning and wake up people in their house coats and stuff, and they were still real friendly and nice.
Oh my goodness. I'm not sure they would be down here.
Yeah. Anyway, but we live in different places, so
Also
I
want to say
wanted to
it's important.
go ahead and take a look at some minivan screens. I think everybody that's on the call has has canvassed with minivans. So this is for people, I guess, who are going to watch later. Um, it's really important when using minivan to understand what it looks like after you first log in. And it looks like the first screenshot, okay? And you either enter a list or you have a way to get to a vote builder list that's already been made up by the campaign. Most of the time, in my experience, we've entered list numbers. And so a list number looks like the second screen, and where you enter it in. A list number is two numbers separated by a dash. Okay. And a lot of people some don't use list numbers. They use a downloadable list, but in my experience, I've mostly used list numbers. The third screen actually shows what the quote list will look like on the map after you've entered it. And each of those numbers, if I think you guys can see the numbers well enough, it says
Yeah.
how many voters uh,
And
that you're interested in at that particular household. Like it could be anything on this list, it's anything from one to three. And those are the potential voters that you're going to try to talk to. Okay. Um, the next screen has a little script on it. And this actually was a script about how about the Democratic Party, and did you know we have a Democratic Party in Shelby County? Anyway, so this is a script that you need to get familiar with before you to go to the houses. So you have this script, but you already have it not memorized, but you know what it says before you go to the door, so you don't have to read it. Okay. The next screen is really about the data collection, and this is the data that you enter if you um, if you can't reach the person contacted, and they're not home, they're dead, you dropped lid even though you couldn't reach them, they moved, or the house is vacant. Okay. Is there any question about these screenshots? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next ones. Um, This is how it looks when you're asking questions of the voters. You might be asking them if they're going to support Democrats up and down the ballot, and you can put your answer in there for whatever the voter told you. Um, the next screen shows, can we count on you to volunteer to help? You can tell this is from 2022. Sorry, it's an old script, but um, and then and whatever their answer was there. Okay. So these questions are asked during the time you're talking with the voter. Okay. And so you can ask these and record their answer right there while you're talking with them. Um, I wanted to show you what some of the other pages of Minivan can give you. You can see that you can get details about the voter on the next page. See where it says details. And Brian, you asked that question about giving polling uh, locations, and the polling location is right there on the details list. So if a voter asks you what their polling location is, you can look under details and you can tell them where their polling location is. And then the next page over is adding a note, like if you uh, want to make a note about something that the voter said that they're concerned about, if they're really worried about health care, they're really worried about job creation or whatever it is, you can add a note there. And then on the last page is the history, and it actually gives you a list of when this voter's been contacted in the past and what they might have said and what they might have answered. So you really do have a lot of information in Minivan that can help you be as effective a canvasser as you can be. Does anybody have any questions about this? Okay. Brian, do you think it's going to show up on the screen well enough to be good for in the recording?
A little bit. I mean, it's a little small. I mean, if you could make it a little larger, that would help.
Okay.
Um, but I'm having a little hard time seeing it.
Okay. Maybe if, yeah, people, I wonder, yeah, I guess I can make it, oh, I can make it a little bit bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, that's better.
There we go. There we go. So maybe I'll just focus these because I think these are the ones because you want to make sure you get the questions asked and answered, and you want to realize that you can know a lot about a particular voter, and you can also know when they've been surveyed before. All straight out of minivan. That really helps you with canvassing. Okay. Yeah, I have to make it small again to get the thing to move. Is that my last? Oh, okay. I've got a 10-minute video about door knocking embedded in this talk, but I'm not going to show it because it's already 7:41. And basically, it's a review from the Pete Buttigieg campaign of everything I've just said. It's a really good video, though. I think if people want to use video to teach door knocking, this is a good video to watch. And so I think it's good to leave it, and people um, can refer to it if if they want to do a longer version of this talk.
And what we can do
Marsha,
also is have it as one of our Blue resources on our website as well. So I'll put that link on tomorrow on our website. Go
Oh,
ahead, Linda.
excellent. Okay, that'll be great. That's a great idea.
yeah, Marsha, this is Linda. Uh,
Yeah.
can I get these slides from
Oh,
you?
sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. If you don't mind sending them to me, I'll kind of modify them and use it. Yours is a lot simpler than what I was using from the DNC. So,
Yes,
Yeah.
Marsha, could I also get this to pass on?
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, I think anything that I can do to help people teach canvassing in a way that makes people not afraid to canvas. Yes, I want everybody to have everything, everybody to have all the slides and to have access to that video and all these. Yes, for sure. Yeah.
that would be helpful because I know I'm going to have to train about 12 people here shortly. So,
Okay. Um, that's really all I had to talk about tonight with canvassing. Does anybody else have any thoughts or last words of wisdom or insights into what they think makes it easier for them to door knock and to canvas? Any thoughts about that?
bring a hat when it's hot, bring a water bottle when it's hot, or else do what we do, we just
Yeah,
have a
when it's
card.
hot. Yeah, water bottles and a hat and sunscreen if you're so moved. Yeah,
You
really.
We,
said you said to never go alone, and I'd like to further that by saying if you can, bring a friend, bring a family member, bring someone you don't mind being in miserable conditions for multiple hours with.
I totally agree with that.
I agree. You know, one of the things I do when I'm canvassing and it's hot is well, I do take I'm lucky enough to have a built-in driver in my house, my spouse, and he drives and keeps the car air conditioned.
Yep.
And we move it like 20 feet at a time and go and sit in the car when it gets too hot. Yeah. Because people have to take care of themselves when they're canvassing, don't they? They have to not get heat stroke and they have to stay hydrated, and all that stuff is really important. Canvassing with a partner that you really like is also a nice thing. You can't always do that because we have to get new canvassers trained in things. Not that you wouldn't like them, but I mean that's a friend. Canvassing with a friend is really fun, but and we can't always do that because we've got to get the new people who've never done it before comfortable and trained, but it is the way it's most fun, that's for sure.
And I got to be honest with you guys. I think we cover more people because if I have 5 people, I have 2 go to the left, 2 go to the right, and I have my driver. Well, if one of those people get tired, they just swap out, you know, and we're able to rotate it and keep going. I mean, I kid you not. We've done 1,000 in a week,
Mhm.
and
Oh, sure.
that's just 2 hours a day because I'm limited on how many hours I'm willing to do it. So I think if you make teams of 5, then when you have to make your next team of 5, you've got experience to give. Uh, so yeah, like I said, I like having a cool place to get, and I like having sufficient water bottles. And if a dog does get after us, I like having a place to go. So in that case, I might force my way into a house.
Yeah.
One thing I'll say is make sure that you do take advantage of swapping out because you want to look as fresh as possible because if somebody sees a sweaty mess walking up to their door that's been canvassing for 4 hours and looks down in the dumps because they're burning up and everything, just take care of yourself, hydrate yourself, and take a few breaks. I mean, get through your list, but take care of yourself and, at
And
least make it through.
when you get done, go somewhere and have a beer.
Or margarita, whatever you want. Yes.
Or take
Those are
beers and margaritas with you.
no, don't take them
No,
with
I
you.
don't think so.
Okay,
No.
that is a bridge too far.
Yeah. Yeah, the idea of being dehydrated and a little tipsy is not the greatest way to canvas. I would not recommend that.
Oh
But
no,
afterwards,
it's
but
afterwards.
Yeah, just afterward, just some.
any other thoughts?
No, great job, Marsha. Thank you.
Great presentation, very helpful. I
Thank you
enjoyed
very
it.
much, Miss Sturdevant.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you being polite, James, but it's Dr. Sturdevant. But
Oh,
thank you.
thank you very much, Dr.
Yeah.
Sturdevant. No idea.
Um, but that's about all I had. Brian, do you want to come back on to do the wrap up?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
okay.
Yeah, if you want to stop sharing your screen.
Oh yeah, I can stop.
But
I'll stop sharing.
no,
There we
you're all
go.
good. Yeah, so thank you so much, Dr. Sturdevant, for that awesome, excellent presentation. Um, yeah, and we will have this recording on our YouTube channel, on our website, as well, so you can view it as many times as you want or share it with others as well. You can also view our past Blue Schools. I think we have some going back as far as 2 years on our YouTube channel with a variety of different topics covering all kinds of stuff. So and all those are accessible 24/7, 365. So feel free to look around those previous videos as well. As I said before, our next Blue School is going to be in May, and that's going to be announced the topic in the coming weeks. In the meantime, we hope that you learn about our upcoming events, Alabama Blue Conference next month. Um, all information is on our website. We have some excellent speakers lined up, some keynote speakers, including Representative Marilyn Lance. Our theme this year is Building a Bolder Blue, specifically in Alabama. So it's a great networking opportunity. Light breakfast and lunch will be provided. It's going to be a great time at the University of Montevallo. So we encourage you, if you can't come, please tell all your friends and everyone else in Alabama or even outside the state for a great networking time with like-minded friends and folks. So yeah, thank you again, everyone, for joining tonight's Blue School, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Take care, everyone. Good
Bye.
night.
Bye bye.
Bye. Hey, everybody.